So welcome to ProfileTree TV, and today we're going to talk about digital transformation for small businesses. So thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you, Kieran.
You wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling us what you do?
Sure, my name's Rich Dale and I'm CEO of Flowlens, and that's a cloud-based system that's mainly built for small equipment manufacturers. So we have customers who make agricultural machinery, electrical components or electrical products, industrial machinery, and an array of businesses that make very innovative products. Most of them are small to medium-sized companies, and we basically help them streamline their entire business process and remove spreadsheets and manual effort out of their day-to-day work life.
Wow, incredible. So you're basically taking own processes that we all used to do and keeping everything in our head, and you're bringing these businesses online and
exactly
the systems.
Yeah, we're bringing them into the 21st century in a lot of cases where, as you say, businesses have grown up, the information is in people's heads, and spreadsheets are a very useful tool, but they can be very silo-based and obviously prone to errors. So whether you're working in sales or managing your stock levels or production, you can get into trouble very quickly if you can't find the right, most up-to-date piece of information. So our mission in life is to find businesses and help them digitally transform, so that they're future-proofed and actually think about their business model in a different way.
Incredible, because I'm thinking again, when I have something in my head or load of things in my head, if I don't write it down and get it out of my head, I feel it's taking up space. I get overloaded, but you're maybe out doing shopping or sitting watching TV and you're going, oh, I need to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So actually getting things down and processes is incredible. It's very important for businesses.
Absolutely. I mean, every business follows a process, whether they realize it or not. And for small equipment manufacturers, they will typically have a sales team who are out there looking for new business. They're quoting their customers, they're winning orders. Those orders translate into works orders and jobs for the factory to produce, and most importantly for the factory to know that it has the equipment or the components and whatnot to be able to produce that and the people to do it. All of those things happen, and whenever times are good and people are not on holiday or sick, those processes tend to work okay. But it's whenever there's a problem or whenever there's an influx of orders and you just realize that the process just breaks down. And happily there are a lot of innovative manufacturers out there, and they've reached that kind of glass ceiling where they realize, we can't go on like this, or they realize maybe a founder of the business has all that information in their head, and it's a major risk if something was to happen to them. Even if they're out of the business for a couple of weeks, things could grind to a halt. So, as you say, having somewhere to put it, and if you're doing this bit of the process, well, that bit of our process is handled by Flowlens. This is where this information goes, and if I'm not around tomorrow, you don't need me because the information should be in there if you're following the process.
Incredible. So business continuity as well is covered then.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not something that people think about every day, and maybe where we are sitting today with coronavirus, a looming threat to Northern Ireland, but already a big threat and causing major disruption for companies. The ability to work remotely, the ability to have your business process contained in its own system and not dependent on all these other silos and people's laptops and where is this information, who has it. At least allows you to have that continuity, even if other areas like your supply chain, if you can't get components, you have problems, at least you know what your problems are and you can react to them more effectively.
Incredible. As you say, there's a big threat now, but the companies that have the processes in place probably are much better prepared going into any situation like this.
Well, exactly, because forewarned is forearmed, and even if there wasn't a coronavirus problem, our basic principle is if you've got orders, you need to know if you can fulfill those orders, and that's what our system does for a small equipment manufacturer. It gives them the confidence that information is there. But equally, if in times like this, if your sales director's off or your stock manager can't come in to work and somebody else needs to pick that up, the information is there. you know. And then coming back to the digital transformation piece, you know, a lot of people think about the next order that they need to have to fulfill, and then there's that notion, well, you've got these customers, they've got our machines, they've got our equipment, but what are we doing to look after them? And that's why, from our sort of holistic view, you've got the generation of customers, you've got the satisfaction of customers initially with the product you sell them, but then you've got the after sales service element, and that's about keeping that relationship alive, making sure the equipment works, but really about exploring new revenue models, because you have service and maintenance revenues that are potentially still sitting on the table, that customers actually want the peace of mind that you know that you can look after them if something goes wrong.
Isn't I'm just thinking again that so your solution must come in different sections, or what?
Yeah.
How you work with a business? You go in and analyse what they're doing at the moment. Is that the first step in the
Pretty
process?
much, yeah. So our first step is to understand how does this business get from an order to something going out the door, and where is the data required to handle that workflow? Where is the customer information? Where is the information about what we've already sold them? And then map that out. And in a lot of cases, you can do that over the phone. You can, with a piece of paper. It doesn't need to be terribly sophisticated. But what it does show us and the customer is where are the bottlenecks, where are the real risks in our business, and that's what I would encourage any business to do. Even if they're not going to buy Flowlens or buy, any business can do this, because once you've done that mapping exercise and you can see how your business actually gets from A to B, the team can sit back and look at it and can actually understand, well, is this actually a valid process? That people in different departments can kind of sympathise or empathise, the amount of work my department creates for your department, but that you mightn't realise it until you've sat down and done that mapping exercise. And I think most importantly for the sustainability of smaller businesses is that you can see that is this process actually the best fit for delivering value to our customers, because as industry changes, as customer demands change, you're then future proof, not just from when there's a crisis, but just for when customers' demands change, and you're better placed to be able to handle it.
Yes, and your role in all of this, then you're managing this process.
So my background has always been in web. I was educating people about the web back in 1995, before it was even, well, it was the web then, now it's the cloud, which is fine, but it's always been about pushing the boundaries of what can be done with the technology and helping businesses do that. And this business was originally a service business, so we helped individual companies. We built products for them to do this same sort of thing, streamline and automate and future-proof business processes. And about 6 years ago, we saw the opportunity to turn that into a product, because we could see the need in the sort of small to medium-sized manufacturing sector, that there just wasn't a tool for the job out there. You had to start investing tens of thousands of pounds and a lot of risk to bring in a big ERP system, which wasn't really realistic for a small company to be able to, never mind afford the price, but take the risk on all the time it took. So yeah, we repositioned the company around that offering, and have been building out what is now a very robust product that is serving customers all around the UK and Ireland and a few further afield. And to your point, it is modular. So when we interact with the company, we're not trying to come in and transform it overnight. We're looking for that pathway to the future state where their mindset and their business processes are transformed. Their appetite for change is transformed away from this is how we've always done it. And that's as simple as getting everyone to put inquiries onto the system and following them up with a simple task and a reminder, through to having an actual accurate picture of what stock do I have, can I fulfill this order, and then and then it sort of snowballs from there as people get more confident in the system.
Incredible, and I guess maybe your approach, which is very clear, actually, you're doing it very logically. Is that you found that's helped the business grow over the last couple of years then?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, because we had to transform ourselves, and that wasn't without its scars, because as a service business, you're used to giving the customer what they want. You challenge them. You're not going to build a bad product. You're going to try and get that best outcome, but you're giving the customer exactly what they want. And turning into a product company was very hard, because we had to look at the segment of the market that we're trying to serve, and how can we make the best decisions into our product that will satisfy most small to medium-sized equipment manufacturers. That had its ups and downs, because we brought on some customers who weren't a great fit for that, but we went through a learning process. So what has helped us grow as the product has matured, but also our own processes. Are we talking to the right person in the right business? Do they make machinery? Do they make plant equipment? Do they have these problems? And do they have the appetite to change? And then going through that process that I talked about getting them onboarded. So that's allowed us to sort of double our customer numbers year on year for the last 3 or 4 years as the product has matured. And in spite of sort of economic and health crisis wrapped around each other, we grew in the last economic crisis, and we'll continue to grow in this one.
Wow, is small to medium-sized equipment manufacturers, are they your typical client then?
Absolutely, yeah. Because if you're bigger, you have different set of problems. They look the same, but they're different. So, and that market, or that segment of the market, was well enough satisfied. With the other more established players. Now, it doesn't mean to say we might not grow into that, but I think the key thing about becoming a product company is knowing that you have a niche that you can target and differentiate yourself. And that's how I get asked a lot of the time by sort of agencies, so people like us as we used to be, who have built a solution for a customer and are wondering if they can productize that. It's nothing to do with the product, it's all to do with the market that you're trying to attack, and is there a white space in that market that you can call your own, and then you go through the process of trying to build a product and a marketing, messaging, positioning strategy around that, because otherwise you could be competing with 100 other businesses.
Of course, amazing. It's very interesting to hear you talk about niche, and because exactly the big companies tend to be always looked after, and because that's everyone goes to them first.
Yeah.
But when you're focused on the small equipment manufacturers, the medium-sized ones, and that's brilliant, and you know exactly who you're serving, and you can customize, I guess, your solution to their industry. Then, yeah.
Basically, yeah. So a lot of the key functionality is built with them in mind, but then the configuration that we can do in the product allows them to set up, their products, their parts, different elements of their business processes to satisfy what they do. And another important thing is that, small companies, they've probably got their spreadsheets and their Outlook and this, that, and the other, and they've got a Sage accounts package or Xero, maybe QuickBooks Online. And if you're going to one of the bigger platforms, you're going to have to rip that out and start again. And we integrate with those products because, firstly, we're not sort of going to build an accounts package when you can integrate with products like that. But for our customers, it means that their accounts, the backbone of their business, isn't disrupted as they're going through a change process. And but we can then begin to automate that. We can push data through into their accounts package, and it just keeps things more balanced.
And obviously you've a lot of experience in this, but is there a good way for small businesses then to look at digital transformation?
Well, I think the key thing is about leadership. The digital word is a bit of a red herring, because yes, there's tons of digital tools, but there always have been. Well, in my lifetime, but the transformation thing is the key, and businesses that can see where the market's going, and align their tools and their processes and their mindset around where the market's going are the ones that will win. So you've seen digital transformation happening for decades, but it's become a bit of a buzzword. But to your question, the key thing is about the leaders in the business knowing and having the confidence that that's where they need to take the business to future-proof it, to make it more sustainable, and then deploying the tools to do that. The second thing is not to be afraid of failure. Because you can buy Flowlens, it's a cloud-based monthly subscription. Same with the likes of Xero, QuickBooks. There are these cloud-based tools out there that you can research them and pick the ones that are right for your niche, but you're not tied in. You haven't sunk 50 grand into an ERP system that you're kind of, you can't back out of that. If the thing isn't working for you, stop, cancel that, try the next thing. So you can experiment with this, and that comes back to the point about your business process and that mapping. If you've mapped out your business process, you can see we've got a real headache in sales order processing. How can we make that more efficient? Then pick a tool and deal with that problem first and move to the next one. And to a certain extent, we've done that in the product. Our product is modular. You can consume it in a modular way, and you can make those steps or baby steps and experiment with it as you go along. And that then brings you sort of the third point, that you've got the team bought in. You've leadership demonstrates the vision. The tools give the confidence that you can try things and then see what works and try more. And then the team are there to come along with it. So if you don't have the team buy-in, then you're snookered. And again, that's where we know our customers in our sector, but we also know who we want to try and sell to, because there's no point in trying to sell to people who don't get it yet. And that could either be the leaders or the rest of the team. But those are the fundamentals, really. It's nothing to do with the technology. It's all to do with where you want your business to be in 2 years, 10 years.
Yes, very good. And interesting, I'm thinking as well, you mentioned one thing that people should avoid doing when they're going through the process. Is there more that you can think of?
I think, well,
probably, I'm thinking there's hundreds. Don't
yeah.
I
know a lot of it comes down to the fear of failure, because you don't, nobody wants to fail, nobody wants to look bad, but if you don't experiment, you won't actually be able to push the boundaries. And again, so that's having the back of your leadership, demonstrating that it's okay to try these things and work them out. But also where people feel is not being prepared for the change, so they don't dedicate the resource to it. The mantra here is if the person you have allocated to this change project, and this could apply to a small equipment manufacturer or a travel company or any business, if the person doing that, if it isn't painful to the business for them to be devoting time to this and what they do on a day-to-day basis, then you pick the wrong person. If you pick someone who's junior in the business, who doesn't understand it, doesn't have the authority or the credibility in the business, it'll take you longer. That's the first point. And the second one is related to that, your data. Some businesses are, even if it's all spreadsheet based, they have information, they have their customers, their parts, their bills and materials. They can get off to a good start. If you don't have that and you don't put resource into producing enough data to get you up going, then again you're going to be snookered. You're going to annoy people. I mean, the classic sort of cliche is that salespeople are lazy, and the CRM element of our product helps salespeople sell more, follow up quicker, close more business. But if you don't have a list of customers in there and even a basic list of products, then you're going to make their day harder rather than easier, because they're going to have to type that customer in. So it might sound trivial, but those are the little things that actually make it work. And that's why we work with people at their own pace, but we try to ensure that we work with people that are going to do the work.
Incredible. So there's definitely a lot of challenges that you face then when you're taking a client through the concept of digital transformation, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially for the first time when they've never even thought of it.
Precisely, yeah. I mean, the best experience for me is whenever you go to meet a customer a few months or a year, whatever, down the line, and that they are changed people because they realise that change is fundamental to business, and that it's okay not to accept the status quo, that the thing you've done for 10 years or 20 years is no longer valid, and that's fine, or the thing you've been doing for the last 3 months may no longer be valid, and it's okay to experiment with that and change it as you go. And that attitude spreads across the business, and that for us is really fulfilling. But it's a wee bit like we have to swallow the medicine first.
That's true. None of us like to swallow that.
I know, and it's hard to balance between trying to inspire people and preach at them, but there's no point in going on this journey if you're not going to embrace that change. And but so many of our customers and so many people that I come into contact with on a daily basis, they're so passionate about their business, their products, the innovation that they deliver, and the customers, and they care a lot about their customers. And sometimes it's easy not to see the underlying business process because the focus is problem solve, look after the customer. But that only gets you so far, and having a good solid business process system and knowing where your business might be in 5 years. Nobody has a crystal ball, but knowing where the trends are going and so on, and having that tool kit to help you, it won't do you any harm.
Amazing. And I guess we're going to see a lot of changes in the digital industry as we speak now. I think working from home, working remotely is going to be incredibly important for businesses. Back to individual people in the business having bits of information and not being on a system. Companies that don't have that are going to have a challenge now as we move forward. But do you see, or what's your predictions or your crystal ball for the future in the digital?
I think, although I'm 20 odd years into my sort of career of digital advice, I still think we're only just in the early stages. And I've mainly worked with small to medium-sized businesses, and there's always a lag there. But I think when you look at what Xero were doing and QuickBooks Online with their ecosystems, of which we're a part, and all the other tools out there, there's business models that haven't been invented yet. But what stays the same is innovation and solving problems for people. But you've got so much opportunity now to do it efficiently, to also have a lifestyle, because there's nothing that pains me more than to come into a business and observe the manual processes that people are doing, and that might be typing invoices, so they take orders in one system, and then they have to type those invoices into their accounts package. That just sounds simple, but that happens a lot, and for the sake of £50 to £100 a month, or maybe you could take that away from that person, or for the sake of £50 to £100 a month, you could take that problem away from that person. That drudgery, them coming into work thinking, well, today I'm going to type 100 invoices from that spreadsheet into this accounts package, and I'm maybe labouring the point here, but that happens every day in different scenarios across businesses. So making it people want to come into work, because actually what I'm going to do today is spend my day on the phone with customers. How are you? What can we do with you next? How can we feed that back into our product improvement? There's a better use of people's time, whether you're the leader of the business, director, manager, team member, and people are going to demand that. People are not going to want to come in and do this kind of manual work when whenever they're used to such digital efficiency in their personal lives, even, you know, everyone's now used to digital banking and you know, handling those sorts of processes much more efficiently. So why should they then come into work and have to copy and paste stuff?
Amazing. I hadn't thought of it like that before, but you're right. Yeah, I think of it personally for my word. You've got your voice controlled heating.
Exactly.
The next stage is
Yeah.
incredible. Things are changing so quickly.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Amazing. So thank you again for sharing the steps of digital transformation and what you're doing. What's next then for the company? What's the next few years look like?
Well, it's just to keep that growth going. You know, for us, we want to stay focused on our core customer niche, and keep the momentum going in our product, because with every new customer we sign up, you know, we're adding more value to our ecosystem, and we're making our product stronger for existing customers and our future customers. So really our eyes are on growing out our customer base and staying focused on adding value to them, and participating in that digital ecosystem. You know, that's what's really exciting, and then everyone benefits. Them, us, you know, the economy. You know, it's a virtuous circle.
Amazing. And if anyone's interested, is watching this, and maybe they're a small or medium-sized manufacturer and they need some help or have some questions on digital transformation or technology, what's the best way for people to reach out or to find you or your company?
Well, I mean, the best thing, we're on LinkedIn. You know, we have a fantastic team that's very dedicated to that customer success, both in terms of sales and onboarding and product. So we're all on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. My email address is rich@flowlens.com. And yeah, we're keen to hear from people who are inspired by that journey and want to get stuck in, because we're the people that will help them through it.
Yes. Well, thank you again for coming in and talking to us about digital transformation and what you're doing for product manufacturers. So brilliant. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Excellent. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed today's conversation. Cover a lot, digital transformation, and maybe make you question what you're doing in your business today. And of course, if you're a small or medium-sized manufacturer of products, check the links below, connect with Rich, and please do share this video if you found it useful. I'm sure your colleagues and your connections will as well. Hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Thank you again.